Hi Stacy, here's the feedback video for your little cartoon character, and you mentioned that you wanted some guidance on the glasses and probably face shape and also mouth shape. So what I'm going to do is nip in and have a look at your selfie and just work from that first so that we know where we are aiming. Glasses, definitely, there's such a characteristic part of a face these days, and they're a perfect place to start in terms of creating a bit of a likeness and exaggerating something. So they give you a little bit of a comic point of relief as well. So I would definitely pick up on your glasses, and the slight cat's eye shape is also important. So I would definitely go with that. But the trick with glasses like this is to keep this shape fairly simple, so you don't want to go into all the facets. So if we just get this shape like that, and the roundness, so up and round, that's pretty much all you need. A little tiny hint over the nose like that. And what happens is the glasses shape becomes a proxy for the eyeball. So you don't have to then go and put eyes inside or kind of like that, because it ends up looking very odd. So all you do is you put your pupils in, and your glasses end up doubling up as eyes. And I'll send you a little example of that so that you can see how it works with various other cartoons. So definitely you're going to go for the glasses and just pretend that the glasses are your eyeballs. In terms of mouth, now mouths are, cartoon mouths, it's best to keep them simple. So I would just go for a curve like this for a smile. You can put in a little mark underneath like that. And if you want to, you can put in a curve like that to imply the kind of smile lines at the end of the mouth. But don't try and fill in full-on lip shapes, because it becomes very difficult to maintain them. So I'll show you how it looks from different angles, because that's usually what becomes a little bit more tricky. And then the other thing, in terms of face shapes, so you have a very beautiful face, I have to tell you. Your face is relatively long and fairly narrow. So if I look at that, your hair with these curls are the sort of characteristic hairline that I talk about. So that's kind of what you want. You don't want, you want a curl or two and a curl or two like this, and then you start looking at the outside and getting these waves that create the kind of outer silhouette. And you can almost ignore what's going on in between here and just fill it in with color. So in terms of actual hair strands, you would pick up, say, these curls here that come onto your face a little bit, and then the slightly wilder ones that create a little bit of a silhouette, and take this like that, so that you end up with the curls across the face. So this characteristic S bend, kind of like that, coming down into the waves, and then a little bit of a wave this side, and then the sort of slightly more enigmatic curls on the outer edges like that. Face-wise, I noticed from what you were doing that you're using quite a round circle like this for your faces, which is pretty much what I showed you in the course, no surprise there. So what I would suggest is that you go for a slightly longer face like this, keeping it oval, because it's difficult cartoon-wise to get too specific about face shape and jaw shape. So if you just stick to a longish oval like that, and then go in with your curls like this and like this, you start to get the idea. And then for glasses, if you make your glasses big like this, they can extend beyond your face. So yours do extend here beyond the width of your face. You definitely want these to extend beyond the width of your face. That's kind of part of the charm of them. And then you can just put your eyes looking wherever your eyes are going to look. And a little lopsided mouth is generally far more interesting than a perfectly symmetrical mouth that shows an absolute curve. So if you do that, and then put a neck in underneath like this, you can put your neck in. You can make the neck quite long and slender, or much more slender if you want to, so you can do that. You can give a hint of an ear like this, and curls. So that starts to become more of a thing. And especially if the head is turned slightly to the right, as the follow your nose principle, make the closer lens of the glasses a little bit larger, and the further lens a little bit smaller, and then you start to get a sense of the face being turned to right or to left. So let's dive in and take a look, just a quick scamper through all the different pages that you sent me. I'm just going to close that off. Now let's go and have a look at layer number 1. Okay, so starting right from the beginning, going back to where you were, if you go and kind of go for a longer face like this, and a little round snub nose like that, and then glasses coming in, not forgetting that they are cat's eye glasses. You can kind of start to practice like that with your curls and your glasses. Your stick figures are really great. I like the way that you've got pretty tiny little legs and arms, feet and hands, and a nice soft curve to the legs. So that's great. Okay, moving on. More stickies, playing around with noses and stuff. You've got a relatively snub nose, a nice little round button, so I would stick with the round, simple button. It's just very easy to handle and it will work well. Let's have a look at where we are here. So this was the follow your nose. If you put in crosshairs like this, bearing in mind that your skull is a globe or a curved shape as opposed to a flat disc, if you just curve these lines slightly, it helps you to get a sense of the curve of the face. And similarly, you're going to go with the longer face like that and the nose, and then your eyes coming kind of like this for the glasses. And of course, these glasses, the far lens of your glasses will disappear slightly behind the nose there. So again here, if we go with a longer face like this, glasses going kind of round, so make sure we get that sort of cat eye look, nose going one way or the other, and then a curl and a smaller curl, and then the slightly wilder look around the outside, down to a neck like that. So just lengthening the face and exploiting the eyes and using just a dot for the pupils. Heading on to this one. Okay, we've got more. So the thing to focus on here is really getting this characteristic one long curl, one short curl, and then a little sort of the side parting. So you want to get short curl, longer curl, parting here, and then the curls kind of over your ears and down. And because this is looking down, you want the nose to point down. You're going to have a little sense of the head, of the face down like that, and glasses. Okay, next page. This is kind of more of the same. You were playing around a little bit more with hairstyles, but I think what you hit on in the end was really good, so I wouldn't bother to look for too much more. I did go scouting around online and I found some different images of you, but your current image is very characteristic, and it's interesting and specific to the way you are now. So it works really well with your glasses, and the those curls across your forehead are extremely distinctive, so I wouldn't go for a straighter kind of a look. Okay, so here, what tends to happen, and it is the way that I drew the characters and the figures in the course, is one tends to end up with this gap between the thighs. So here again, you're going to be wanting to elongate the head a little bit, the face, and then if you've got both feet facing this way, which is great, you haven't got that sort of what I call the cowboy bow legs. If you bend this knee slightly more like this and bring that thigh across, hang on a second, you can bend like this and get less of a gap between the thighs if you want to, because that gap between the thighs isn't always something that you want or need. So you might want to just kind of exaggerate the bend of the closer leg like this if you are drawing something like this. Making sure that it bends a little bit in here so that you don't get this sort of bow-legged look. Okay, heading on here. So the perfect side profile. It's the hardest thing to draw, and it's the good thing about it being the hardest thing to draw is it's actually the least dynamic angle of any view, either flat face on or side face on. Really, really boring in a cartoon. And so the fact that it's really hard to draw is great because you're not going to be tempted. So what I would say is, oops, sorry, wrong layer. What I would say is draw your elongated oval like this for the slightly longer face. Put your nose in like that. Glasses like this. Okay, so this is your closer lens. So you're going to have your glasses like that. And give a hint of the other lens like this, because that is what you're going to want. So always show both lenses or both eyes in this situation, and don't make the mouth touch the front edge here. So you're going to have an ear, and we're going to have the curls of the hair like this, and curls out like that, but have your eyes, show both eyes. I'm just going to improve what I did with the far pupil, which is looking a little bit strange. And what you'll find is that the nose comes across like this. Part of the far lenses of the glasses will be hidden behind the nose, and we'll see the full lens of these glasses. What you'll probably find the trickiest with the glasses is getting the cat's eye angle, so that kind of lifted towards the outer edge angle. Work that curve over and over again to try and get that angle right, because you might be tempted to end up with it a bit flatter than it would be. So if we were to correct this one, you would need to put, even without glasses, you'd want to see both eyes like that, and a longer face and a slight smile like that. And then the curl can kind of go out into mid-air on this side here, and curls down this side. We'll get a hint of an ear. Okay, onwards. Looking at this one, again, in terms of this, trying to avoid the cowboy curve, which is so characteristic of what I put in the course for simplicity. So if you were to turn, you can either straighten one leg and have it like this and kind of show the foot forward, and then have one leg bent like that. That can work. So yeah, one leg straight and one leg bent is a very useful way to do it, or else both knees like this. This is perfect, where you've got both knees going in the same direction and both bent in the same direction. That's good. Okay, this we're starting to get close to where you ended up. So just in terms of correcting this, we'd end up with a longer face like that. Glasses, I need to just reduce the size of my pencil tip here. So glasses extending out beyond the face, nose like that, a part curve for the mouth. You don't need it a full curve, and more slender arms than these will work quite well. So bringing your top down like that. Okay, so we're starting to get there. Your little person is starting to move quite neatly. What I like is that by the end you manage to iron out this little point, which is quite a common one, this sort of sense of having a bit of a coat hanger in your shoulders. So that's something to watch out for, because you want to avoid that, but it takes a little bit of tinkering around. Okay, so this one is a little bit more of the same. I'm not going to repeat again because I've showed you a few times this the longer face, so I think that you're getting with that at the moment, and the curls as well. So let's press on and look here. Again, we're starting to come towards where we ended up. So let's go past these, and here we are. Okay, so here, let's go and have a look at a few pointers to just make this good. So we're going to go for the longer face. You're going to think about whether you want a little bit more of a neck, which is very elegant. So I think that would probably work well in your case. And we're going to put glasses. So glasses are going to go on like this. Make this lens slightly bigger. And a little curve. You can have a little curve. So a bigger mouth might be, you could have a mouth shaped like this for a kind of a big wide grin. Or a little, as soon as you've got the curve at the edge, it tends to be a bigger smile, and little smiles like this. And lopsided generally works better. Just filling in the entire thing is never as interesting. So the top of the arm here, you probably want to avoid having it too wide. So I would take it down like this. And then here, the torso will tend to go across the top of the arm there, so just in front of the bicep. That just gives you that sense of perspective that the body's slightly turned to this side. So the front of your body will cut across the far arm and obscure part of the top of your arm there. In terms of this hand, the thumb will be on this side, so if she's giving a little wave, thumb will be there, palm will be there, and nice elegant wrist there. So that's really good. Often people end up with their wrists too thick. Okay, another tip, never put the bottom of your feet right on the bottom of the page. So don't use the edge of the page as the floor. What you want to do is draw her feet a little bit above the bottom of the page, and you just put in a line behind her like this. So imagine that the bottom of the page is way down here. Draw her like half a centimeter or a centimeter, her feet about a centimeter above the very bottom edge of the page, and then fill in a line sort of behind her calves here to give an impression of, there's floor behind her, and then that's the bottom of a wall or something. So there's a space that she's standing in. And remember what I said about if you have one, you can have one leg straight like this, and a foot sort of toe on, so we'll see it from the front, so it won't look like a side facing foot. We won't see much of the edge of the foot. And then one leg bent. That's a very characteristic and very useful, comfortable way of standing. We all do it. So that's the easiest way to pose. And yeah, apart from that, going in obviously with your characteristic curls, one longer, one shorter, and then the silhouette on the outside to get your slightly more oval face. And that is that. I hope you can come up with something which works well for you. I'm going to undo all of the rest of these so that we can just look at that final, or the place that we started. So let's go and have a look. There we go. So without anything behind, I'm just going to round this out a little bit, and you can see that oval coming. And you can see what I meant here. Remember I said practice. I'm going to change color so that we can see what's going on. Practice this kind of top, slightly kitty-eyed curve to get that in place. But this, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this character. It's really got so much potential already for enormous entertainment value. Had to think about that for a moment. Okay, thanks so much for doing the cartoon character kit, and keep in touch. I'd love to hear how it goes.